Good evening, everyone. It is 6:01 on September 20th, 2022, and it is time to call to order the meeting of the Gallatin City Council. We will begin with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. And this evening, Mr. Charles Brinkley is going to offer our invocation, and Councilman Overton is going to lead us in the pledge. If you would stand with me, please.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your power. We thank you for the good things that you've done for us in these our very lives. Bless this council, our Father, for much good. Continue to give them insight and wisdom to make decisions that will benefit this great city in which we live. Forgive us of our sin. Continue to lead us, guide, and direct us in the path of righteousness, just for you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Brinkley, Councilman Overton. Ms. Kittrell, would you call the roll for us, please?
Vice Mayor Fennell.
Here.
Councilman Alexander.
Here.
Councilman Fan.
Here.
Councilwoman George.
Here.
Councilman Hayes. Councilwoman Love is absent, and Councilman Overton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Kittrell. We have no minutes provided this evening, so we will move on now to public recognition on agenda-related items. If you have an item that's on this evening's agenda that is of importance to you and you would like to speak to it, I would invite you to do so. You'll have 5 minutes. We ask that you introduce yourself, give us your name and your address. I also want to tell you that there is a time at the end of the meeting where you can speak to any item that is not on the agenda. So with that, public recognition on agenda-related items is now open.
Evening, Mayor. Evening, Council. Pascal Jones, 1335 Longfellow Pike. I want to talk about Ashley Grove. A few weeks ago, I talked during public comment, so I'm not going to come back to that. I think it's a bad design. We already have a design like that in the new District 3. On Harris Lane, and people came and complained about it a few months ago about, just about parking. There is no parking in that design. I mean, people are going to be there, going to have issues, and they're going to come back again. So I'm going to ask you a question. Since last time, I would like to know if any of you went back there and looked at that spot. I know it fits Plan Gallatin, but it doesn't fit the area. Everything in single houses, and with this development is going to dump on a road who can't fit that development. Again, there is no parking. That means people are going to be there, going to be miserable if they want to organize anything. And again, people who arrive in the city don't know the ordinances, so they're going to be on the same case and Liberty Creek development, where suddenly they're going to realize they cannot park in the street. So how are we going to do? I think it's okay to say no, and this design should be sent back, and the developers should make it better. And I think that's your job, to make sure that the citizens going to arrive in the city have a place where they can live, and they can live on good standing and happy. So I'm asking you to consider that, send that development to the drawing board. And again, I would really want to hear from you. And if you went there and look at it, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak under public recognition on agenda-related items, you may do so at this time. Okay, seeing no one, public recognition on agenda-related items is closed. We will move now to Mayor's comments, and I'll start with a really happy little tidbit of news that I actually missed last night because I was occupied. But apparently, on The Voice, does anybody here watch The Voice? Anybody out there? Well, apparently last night on The Voice, there was a young man, or young to me, a 25-year-old man from Gallatin who was chosen, and he selected to be on, I guess, John, I don't know the show that well, but John Legend's team. And he said on the show he was from Gallatin, Tennessee. It's David Andrew Sistron. And graduate of, think Gallatin, but Belmont University, classmate of a lot of people on social media. So congratulations to him, and I would ask that we all kind of tune in and keep up with that and root for him and share that news, because it's always exciting when there's, and I listened to the video of him singing, oh wow, what an incredible voice. It would, you'd enjoy looking that up and listening to him, because it was fabulous. So that's my good news to start with. Don't have any bad news. I want to tell you all that I do have tickets, council members. If you'd like to attend the NAACP banquet, that is on October the 8th at First Baptist Church over on Winchester Street. Also want you to know that you are invited to the former Governor William Trousdale's birthday party, and that is this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m., and I do believe that's open to the public as well, so you're welcome to attend. Also, I want everyone to be aware that this Friday is Gallatin High School's homecoming, which means that there will be a homecoming parade at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that always creates some traffic challenges, but it's worth it for what that parade means to Gallatin and to those students. So that happens at 4 p.m. on Friday, and then, of course, the ball game is that evening. This weekend, lots of exciting things happening, particularly over at the park. There is a National Softball Association tournament happening. There's also a big baseball tournament happening. The Monarch in the Park event is happening that Union Elementary does every year. It's on my calendar as the 24th, but I believe it's actually on the 23rd. So you can follow up with me if you want me to check on that. Pawpalooza, one of my favorite events for pet lovers, is happening at the Triple Creek Park Pavilion, and that's on the 24th from 10 till 4. Also want to remind this council that next week is the GNRC annual meeting and luncheon. It's happening at Geodis Park. You do have the opportunity to tour that park if you so desire. And then on the 1st of October is the Main Street Festival in downtown Gallatin. That night is the Spirits of Sumner Candlelight Cemetery Tour. And I do want to remind everyone that the Homer Bradley, that was for public recognition, the Homer Bradley motorcycle ride benefiting Feed Sumner is happening on October 8th. And Kim Baker and I are organizing that this year. And Feed Sumner and First Baptist Church will be helping out with that. And so if you would like to sponsor or ride, let one of us know, or find us on social media. So that is all of Mayor's comments. I think I've probably forgotten something. Anybody thinking of anything else I should have mentioned? Okay.
You're good.
All right. That's Mr. Hayes' way of saying you've spoken long enough. So we will move on to the regular agenda, and item number 1 is second reading on ordinance 02208-43, and for that, Councilman Alexander is recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. This second reading is ordinance number 02208-43, an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, to rezone a 5.3 plus or minus acre partial, tax map 113G, Group D, partial 025.00, from the R10 medium density residential district to the R5 high density residential plan, residential district, with a preliminary master development plan for Lashy Grove, located south of Haddon Track Road and west of Scott Drive, authorizing the revision to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, repealing conflicting ordinance, provided for severability, and provided for an effective date, and I so move.
Have a motion by Councilman Alexander, a second by Councilman Overton, opening the floor for any discussion.
John, Councilman Alexander, this is your district, everything good? You okay with this? mean,
I am, yes.
Okay, I didn't know. All right.
I think it'll improve the property values over it too. It's gonna make it look better.
Anyone else? All right, this is second reading on ordinance 02208-43. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. It does pass second reading unanimously. Item number 2 is second reading on ordinance 02208-44. Councilwoman George, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance appropriating $8,202.99 for fire equipment repairs. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman George, second by Vice Mayor Fennell. Any discussion? This is second reading on ordinance 02208-44. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Does pass second reading unanimously. Item number 3 is second reading on ordinance 02209-47. Vice Mayor Fennell.
Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance appropriating $225,832 for salary study adjustments, reclassification, and department restructures. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Fennell, second by Councilman Alexander. Are there any questions, any discussion? Okay, this is a second reading on ordinance 02209-47. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. It passes unanimously. Item 4 is also a second reading on ordinance 02209-48. Councilman Fan.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance appropriating ARPA funds, American Recovery Plan Act, and I so move.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Fan, second by Councilman Alexander. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, discussion? Okay, this is a second reading on ordinance 02209-48. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Second reading passes unanimously. Item number 5 is a first reading on ordinance 02209-49. Councilman Alexander.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, rezoning 2 lots totaling 0.77 plus or minus acres from the R15 medium density residential district to the R10 medium density residential district located west of Gwen Avenue and north of Long Hollow Pipe, authorizing the revision to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, repealing conflicting ordinance, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date, and I so move.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Alexander, a second by Councilman Overton. Is there any discussion? Board satisfy your explanations last week? All right. First reading on ordinance 02209-49. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. It passes first reading unanimously. Item number 6 is first reading on ordinance 02209-50. Councilman Hayes.
Yeah, this is an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Tennessee, rezoning 2.77 acres from the RR Rural Residential County District to the MRO Multiple Residential and Office District, and approval of a preliminary master development plan for Caldwell Place comprising 17.87 acres located east of Cages Bend Road and south of Nashville Pike, authorizing the revision to be on the official zoning atlas, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilman Fan. Any discussion, questions, concerns? Okay, this is first reading on ordinance 02209-50. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Does pass first reading unanimously. Item number 7 is first reading on ordinance 02209-52. Councilman Overton.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance, City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, Article 2, definitions, and Article 12, supplementary district regulations, Section 12.14, home occupations, and Gallatin zoning ordinance, repealing conflict of order, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman Overton, second by Councilwoman George. Are there any questions, any discussion?
Ma'am, you might just touch base real quick and let everybody know what this is if they didn't.
It
If they didn't hear
basically
it, so-
allows someone who works out of their home to have more than one business out of their home. A lot of people that do online businesses or maybe consulting or whatever, they may have multiple business licenses based on what they're doing, but the impact is kind of the same on what it is as a resident.
And it doesn't override any homeowner associations or anything else. It just allows them to do it.
So, yeah. When this
That's
was-
limited in the businesses itself, correct?
Pardon me?
That is limited to the type of the businesses.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you can't open an appliance store out of your house.
That's,
We've actually had that happen, so that's why that came to mind.
Just people that work at home from,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So, any questions on that? Okay, this is first reading on ordinance 02209-52. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Does pass unanimously. That concludes the regular agenda in some record time there. Bringing us now to other business. I do have one item, but I would ask first if any of this council had other business they'd like to bring before the
Just one other thing, we are having farm to table this weekend. I think
Yes.
you forgot to mention that.
I didn't mention it because it sold out,
But I
so
just want to let everybody know
Yeah.
that square will be blocked off.
that's
so-
true. The square will be blocked off. That's a chamber event
All day.
and big event happening, but
All day?
Mayor, is there,
it's for 7, no.
will there be an event put on by like the Chamber of Commerce for the candidates as far as like a debate forum?
October the 10th, Volunteer State Community College, October the 10th.
I knew there was, I knew it was, I think, yeah, it's on a Monday night because it's on Columbus Day, so
It's the
that's
same one they
exactly-
put on every year, every election cycle, they put it on. Newspaper is actually the one that partners with them, but Volunteer State Community College and Chamber of Commerce puts it on.
What time is that, Jimmy?
Do the candidates get the questions beforehand?
No, they do not.
Okay.
What time is that?
6 to 8:30.
8:30.
College.
Anyone else with any other business? That's actually on the calendar. I just haven't gotten that far in the dates I announced, so it's actually on the calendar. I could have looked at that and given you the information. Okay, no other business. I do have one item. This is a request to close a road. Oh, it's for the cemetery tour this weekend. It's for next weekend, October 1st, 2022. They want to close it from 2 p.m. until midnight, and they close Cemetery Avenue from West Smith to West Winchester. So just that kind of stretch of road that goes along the cemetery. I don't think it's terribly impactful. Do have the department head signatures, and there are no signatures. I think there are no residents that are impacted by the stretch that they close.
Same thing you do every year, and I so move.
Okay, motion by Councilman Overton, second by Councilman Alexander. Is there any discussion?
Always a good event.
Approve, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. It is approved unanimously on 9/20/22. All right. No other business. I'll move along to public recognition on non-agenda related items. If you have an item not on the evening's agenda, you may come forward and speak to it. And you'll have 5 minutes. We ask that you introduce yourself. Give us your name and your phone, not phone number, please. Don't give us your phone number. Give us your address.
Good evening, people. It's Patrick Reiner, 317 Malone Drive, and I want to thank you guys again for letting me have 5 minutes to speak. I think speaking is a really good thing in this country, and I don't know why a lot of people are afraid of it. Some people might be afraid of it because they might be scared of what you have to say if it's true. And at this point, I think people in the field of running for election or being in the public eye, not just a public figure, but like somebody running, should have to realize that they're probably held to a more strict scrutiny of the First Amendment, which one, I think stealing someone's signs would fall them under a federal category of violating the First Amendment. And I think a school just had to give up like $250,000 for violating someone's First Amendment rights. So I got a call from a lawyer today that said he was interested in talking to me about someone that was stealing my signs, especially if they were running for election and should know the rights to the free speech. And if they just were a foreign person and they got possibly time before they get deported for violating someone's First Amendment rights. So I would really, out there in the light of the day, if you're running or not running, you have to deal with the free speech. And as long as it's not child pornography, hate speech, fighting words, it goes and under stricter scrutiny for government officials. I mean, I know you guys probably been brought before and had to deal with some free speech, but I'm going to handle my free speech. I'm going to file my lawsuit against the people that stole my signs, and we'll let them hire a lawyer and let them put the money where their mouth is. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak under public recognition on non-agenda related items, you may do so at this time.
I am Kathy Christensen, and I'm actually representing the Enrichment House Peer Support Center on 538 East Main Street. And I wanted to speak about the crossing of, I believe it's Hartsville Pike, down by Food Lion. There is a signal light at East Eastland and Hartsville Pike, but there's no crosswalk. And actually, to get any kind of a crosswalk, you have to walk quite a ways down towards, like if you're going out towards Carthage area. We have several members that come to our peer support center, and we're open 4 days a week. And quite often, we don't make them stay there. So quite often, they want to go to lunch, or they might need to go to the hospital to get blood work done. Several different things where they actually have to cross that street to get there. We actually had our members help us write a letter. I had to look it up today, but this was back in 2018. We had the mayor come and speak to us, and we were told that there was a lot of things that have to go into getting, a crosswalk and don't walk signs and those kind of things. I looked it up. This was back in 2018. Now, we were closed for a full year during COVID. So it hasn't really been an issue until recently because it's come back. We're back to our regular hours again. Today, we had 4 people that had to cross that street. I know we're not the only ones that do that either. I know there are other citizens that also have to go across that road. Anybody who drives there knows that's a busy road. And my fear is that something may not be done until somebody actually gets hurt or killed on that road. So my agenda with this is I sure would like to see some action happen to look into trying to get, even just a crosswalk.
Ma'am, I'd like to try to help you right there.
We are not supposed to be responding to public comment. We have to wait until they are through.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. But anyway, again, I know some of our clients aren't even very careful when they go. That's not anyone else's fault. But my fear is that one of them is going to get hit going across that street because it's not safe. And it's also against the law. It's jaywalking because there is nowhere for them to cross. So that's my agenda item. And, I would like to see that somebody might look into that and we could maybe get some information back that we can give our clients so that they can feel safer going across that street.
Thank you so much.
Mayor, can I say anything?
We have to wait till public comment is closed. Right. Anyone else wish to speak on non-agenda related items?
My name is Sandra Kelly, and I live at 103 Jones Street here in Gallatin. And I just wanted to announce that We Are Gallatin, which is a nonpartisan citizen group, we are presenting a community town hall Q&A at the Palace Theater on October 6th. It is open to all, and we have invited all of the candidates that are running for city council or mayor. And it will be a Q&A. The questions will come from the citizens, and no one will know what they are until that night. So I just would like to invite the public and all of you all. I'm waiting for some answers, and we're hoping that everybody that's been invited that is a candidate will come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Anyone else wishing to speak under public recognition on non-agenda related items? Okay, seeing none, I will declare public recognition on non-agenda related items closed. And I know you want to say something, Mr. Fennell, but I want to say something too. And you're referencing North Westland is where you're referencing. Yeah, it's North Westland. And I know that engineering was made aware of that desire for a crosswalk there. I think you'll recall that that is a state road, and trying to navigate that is difficult. I don't know, Mr. Tuttle, if you guys ever followed through with anything with the state, but you have a reminder to check on it, because we do need a crosswalk at that intersection. That's actually my neighborhood, and you see people crossing all the time down there at Hume and, in the middle of the street, because even though you have a stoplight, it's traffic going every which direction and a turning lane, and it's very confusing as to when the safe time to cross is. So, Mr. Fennell.
From my business, when I go and have lunch like today, I went to lunch with my wife and went to the Mexican place over there, kind of across from Captain D's. I've noticed that problem, and I stand with that lady right there. I travel that way pretty much every day, and I've seen that a lot. And I think it would be in our best interest if we can, and I know that we got to navigate through to try to.
It can happen.
help
I'm
that,
confident it can happen. It's just getting it through that process. The other thing that I've always really wanted, and several people have asked me about this, is figuring out a safe way to cross Hartsville Pike so that people, because we have that park there on Eastland, if there were some way to cross from the hospital to the park safely, but I just don't see, unless somebody wants to spend a whole lot of money and build a tunnel or an overpass, I don't see that happening. But the next best solution is getting a crosswalk at that light at Westland and West Main. Is it East Main? East Main at that point, so.
Nick, will you communicate with her before she leaves tonight, please? Just so
Turn around so she knows who you are. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, and thank you so much for bringing that up, because it likely did get lost in all the stuff that's going on and what happened during COVID and everything.
You know, Mayor, I'd like to say another thing, too. The other comment that come up about the public forum, I heard her mentioning it, the lady up here earlier, and from what I've been told, how's it a public forum when a candidate is actually the one that is renting the place? That don't sound fair. That's my comment.
Thank you, Mr.
Anyone else with any other business? All right. Actually, we were past other business, sorry. And past public recognition. So now it is time. Motion to adjourn by Councilman Overton, second by Councilwoman George. All in favor, say aye. Everyone have a lovely evening, and be safe going home, and we'll look forward to seeing you back again. Be kind, please.